Lesson Planning Assignment Rubric Explained. In this video, you will see the rubric for the lesson planning assignment.
We're going to end this lecture series with taking a look at the rubric for your lesson planning assignment in this course. Right here, you will see the rubric that's linked inside the assignment, and it's also under your assignment resources on Moodle, but I've already got it popped open. For a lot of people, y'all never seen this type of rubric. It's called a single point rubric. And right here, you have the criteria for standards of performance. This will prove your proficiency. So if you're looking for a B to C grade, you're going to hit all these things right here. If you want an A, low A or higher, you would go above and beyond these indicators right here. What I really like about the 1-point rubric is that it gives me the freedom to give a whole lot more feedback to my students, which makes it easier for them to grow. If you're doing something just incredible that's above and beyond the requirements of the assignment, I will give you feedback here and tell you exactly what you did, and you could get 95 to 100 points on this specific row of the rubric, which is worth 8 points. And if you are having an issue in a certain area and I had to deduct points due to it, I'm going to tell you what my concerns are here, and it's 84 to 0%. So if you want an A, you will go above and beyond these requirements. If you want a B to a C, you will stick somewhere within these. If you want a D or lower, you are going to be found in, your work will be found in this side of the rubric with feedback. So I'm a huge fan of this type of rubric, but a lot of y'all, like I said, have not seen it, so it's a little alien. But once we get into the assignment, you'll see how it allows me to give a whole lot more feedback. The first section, the first criteria we're looking at with the rubric are learning outcomes in technology. Your technologies that you choose should align with one or more of the learning outcomes in your lesson plan. So I've got my lesson plan open here, and let me show you exactly what I mean. You're going to be integrating technology in meaningful ways for this assignment. You need to make sure that any technology you're using helps your students meet their learning outcomes. So in this case, there's only one right here written in the lesson plan. But if you think you can use technology in such a transformational way that you could hit a different learning outcome, you're welcome to give it a try and write your own. But I also want to let you know you can definitely use the ones that are already written in the lesson plan. So I can, or the learner will, identify internal and external character traits of Camellia Cream in the story Bad Case of Stripes. So I would look in your types of learning, in your 3 examples or more technology integration into this lesson, I would look to make sure that somewhere within your lesson, you're using technology to make sure your students will be able to identify internal and external character traits. So you need to ensure that you are using technology in a meaningful way that makes it so the students will be more likely to achieve their learning outcomes. The next one is teaching strategies in technology. The technologies you choose must support the teaching strategies that are either in your lesson, or you're welcome, if you're using technology in some transformational way, to write your own teaching strategies or choose ones that are more appropriate. And we looked at that already in this lesson. So here's an example. Here's a toss out, which is where you just throw an idea out and y'all talk about it. So if you were trying to address that teaching strategy, you would use technology to facilitate a toss out. So that could be some sort of discussion prompt inside of a presentation, something like that. But you will want to make sure whatever teaching strategies are in your lesson plan, that your technology is actually being used to support those teaching strategies. Or if you're doing something super great with your technology, feel free to write your own teaching strategies. I gave y'all some examples in Moodle. You can choose ones that are more appropriate. So technology selection, you have to have at least 3 examples of meaningful integration of technology in this assignment. If you're trying to get into this advanced area, that would mean you have more than 3, or you have 3 pretty complex ways you're integrating multiple types of technology. You'll see in the examples, the more you put thought and effort into this, the more you can make these meaningful experiences. So don't just think of it as one type of technology you have to use, although you could do 3 totally separate types of technology. This just means that you're building upon it. So maybe you're using, for your first selection, you're going to use a presentation in the classroom where they can give feedback within it. And then you're going to have your students post what they learn to a social media like Twitter. They can post some of their observations on Twitter and get feedback from experts. That's a meaningful way of using technology to help meet your learning outcome and help support your teaching strategy. The artifact, you're going to be creating whatever you'd like in this assignment. As I said, it could be a Google Slides. That's what most people do. Sites, Flipgrid, any of that stuff. But your artifact has to be visually appealing. It has to contain enough information that we understand the basics of the technology integration you're planning to do in this assignment. And you have to at least seem knowledgeable. So if you're going to use a type of technology, make sure you look at their website, make sure you play around with it a little bit. You don't want to tell me that you're going to use some proprietary technology and then it actually doesn't do what you're purporting that it does in this assignment. So make sure that you really do actually know what you're talking about when you're discussing a type of technology. And then, of course, you're going to post it on your portfolio website. Make sure and post a visualization, a screenshot of anything in your artifact. And then, obviously, tell me about the knowledge you gained and how you plan on furthering your knowledge in that area. So, once again, your technologies you choose, a minimum of 3. They need to support the learning outcomes that are already in your lesson, or you're free to write your own learning outcomes. They also need to support the teaching strategies, or you're free to choose better teaching strategies if you so desire. At least 3, and it has to be visually appealing, and you got to know what you're talking about. And then the final 5 points is posting to your portfolio. So again, if you want to get advanced, if you want to get an A in this assignment, you need to go above and beyond what's required here for a B or C. You need to be transformational in the ways you're using technology. And you can use anything you so desire. I don't want you to make it complex just to make it complex. You need to make sure that you're using the technologies as they're meant to be used and is most effective. So don't throw the kitchen sink in there just so that you have 20 different types of technology. It has to be in a meaningful way. Now, I know this is our first really big assignment, so it's really complex. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I would love to help you through this. I highly suggest that you take advantage of that 48-hour, turning in the assignment at least 48 hours before it's due. The request for feedback is on the front page of Moodle. Take advantage of that. Let me tell you exactly what you've done well. Let me tell you where you can improve. I want you to have the highest grade possible because I'm most concerned with you understanding what we're doing and actually achieving the standards that we have for this class. So if that means that I have to look at it a few times to help you polish it off and help you get the concepts and choose good types of technology, I'm more than happy to help. So reach out if you need me.